what should be the action plan for startups, right? Now, action plan for startups is very, very important. Now, in this, I would definitely cover. So obviously, when I say action plan for startups, it may not be only startups, right? But of course, since considering we are talking about startups and for SMEs for that matter, because startups is more of a cliche. There's a definition of startups as per legally is different, from the investor perspective is different, from a founder's perspective is always different. So again, there could be a separate session only on definition of startups. Okay, not digressing too much. Let me straight away get into action with my action plan for startups. Okay, first and the foremost thing, there are lot of startups who need to ensure business continuity. Now, what's business continuity plan? What's a BCP? Now, BCP is very, very important. See, as startups, we are always short of cash, right? Now, in technical terms, in finance technical terms, we call it a runway. Now, what is a runway? I put a small formula, very easy formula. Say I have a cash balance of in my company of 10 crores, and I have a monthly cash burn. Cash burn means my net cash outflow of the company, net of revenue, cash inflow. Suppose I am burning 1 crore per month. I divide 10 crores by 1 crore. I get number of months, that is 10 months of survival. It's very simple. I've just put a formula. So if I have 10 crores, if I'm burning 1 crore per month, obviously I know that my company can survive only for next 10 months. Now, this becomes a really, really critical situation for startups. So for now, we do not know when the market opens. Now, obviously our Prime Minister has told 3rd May, but unless the situation improves, we may have to see much worse things, right? And despite even if the market opens on say 3rd May, right? Are you confident? Are you sure that all your customers, or there would be a sudden jump in your customers in the business that you are into, especially if it's tangible, if it's a travel company, I may not plan to travel for next 5 months at least, right? There would be some fear. There would be a lot of, if someone is running a restaurant, I may fear eating outside and maybe stick to eating at home. So you are not sure when this effect of this COVID would actually stop, and you may actually call it something as business as usual, right? We call it BAU, business as usual. So understanding your runway is very, very important. Now, the best way, whatever the cash balance that you have is intact. That's sacrosanct. You cannot change it, right? You have 10 crores, you have 10 crores in a bank. Now, but the monthly cash burn is something that you can actually control and increase your runway. That is the only way. Now, I'll tell you, how do you plan for your monthly cash burn and how do you identify your cost structure in the company? The first and the foremost important thing is your bifurcate your profit and loss account, that is basically the cost items, into 3 levels. First, necessary. Second, comfort. And 3rd, luxury. Even in life, you might have read in economics somewhere in sometime in your life, right? There are 3 types of cost. One is necessary, which is absolutely necessary for running your business. Now, you need to understand, depending on your business model, what are the costs which you cannot do away with. Say, for example, I am running a particular company in which I provide certain services, right? Now, servicing my clients or my customers is something that I cannot do away with. I cannot say my customers, now there is a COVID, I cannot provide you services. You have taken money from them or trying to sell your product. So the necessary products, whatever you wish to actually, so the necessary products, necessary cost items that you need to incur, you have to incur. So the first and the foremost is that sit with your complete P&L with your finance person, or if you are a finance person yourself, sit with your P&L and bifurcate each and every single line item of P&L. When I say P&L, it's not limited to P&L only. Even under P&L, say for example, marketing is one line item in my profit and loss account. Under marketing, bifurcate that expense based on your vendors. List down all your vendors. What is the last 3 months burn against each of these vendors under that line item? Second is your comfort. Now, these are expenses which are good to have, but you need to question yourself. Is it required? If it is required, can I at least postpone those for next 3 months, 4 months? Is it possible? If the answer is yes, you should immediately try to cut that cost, right? Third is your luxury. Now, luxury is like, you need not have a swanky office, right? If you already have, if you already put money, if there's a contract, go and try to negotiate with your vendor. Either take a renter waiver or ask them to reduce the rent, whatever best possible. See, it all depends. There is no black and white answer to problems of all the startups, right? I cannot tell you a solution that one size fits all, but depending on your status, depending on your stage of your startup, depending on your need, you can always plan. Like one of my client, their contract was getting over in the month of March, luckily. And suddenly this COVID hit. They straight away closed down. They had a lot of warehouses. Now it's a staple company. So obviously their business is running good and they have actually increased the business. It's a distribution company. What they did, they immediately stopped the office. They said, we are canceling the contract. We would see once the market opens. Till that time we are canceling. Again, they were lucky that it was canceling on 31st March. It was ending on 31st March. So they stopped the contract immediately and they said, I asked the founder, where will you sit tomorrow if the market opens? He said, no worries, I'll go and sit in the warehouse. It's just a matter of a few months. Once the market is normal, we'll take another office. So that is something that you have to be agile and be ready to accept for change, right? Now, this was just one example. There could be multiple other examples. Say, for example, you have 500 employees in your company and everyone is using a Gmail, right? Now, Gmail account emails, so obviously it's very expensive, right? I'm taking a very small example, but it may be relevant for a couple of folks. Now, Gmail is very expensive. It will charge you on a per user per month basis. Now, you need to answer, do all 500 employees really require a Gmail ID? Maybe not. They may not be really externally facing clients or maybe external vendors. So if you identify, say 200 people do not require a Gmail ID, you can switch to some other vendors, maybe some cheaper vendors where the cost is lower, at least for some time or maybe for permanently. Now, this is a time where you can actually bifurcate each and every cost and try to, again, I'm reiterating the same thing. Divide that into 3 levels: necessary, comfort, luxury. Luxury is a clear cut, maybe for the time being or maybe for good. It can be it's a good time to actually reflect and cut down on those costs. Comfort, try your best. Necessary. So if this happens and if you are able to cut down even 20% of your cost, just imagine the impact on your runway, right? Moving forward, now, this is one more very important time. See, again, obviously, being a human being first and then a finance professional or an entrepreneur, I would never want anyone of you to fire your employees, right? But what do we do if we do not have enough money to even pay, right? Now, that's a hard call that would need to be taken. Now, the first clear cut, my suggestion would be try not to fire your employees. Just as you are bothered, even they are bothered. They have their families to run. But second option could be, there could be some pay cuts. Now, what are these pay cuts? At least you can decide a threshold that after certain things, say for example, I decide in my company, whoever is drawing more than 1 lakh per month, we would all take a pay cut of say 40% or maybe 60% for the matter. And this would only continue for next few months. As soon as the situation improves, we would do that, right? Second important thing, it's a very, very interesting and a good time to actually think on, can we actually try to create a work from home culture for a long time, right? Say, for example, there are a lot of non-interacting teams, say a tech back office telecalling team who just need to call, they never show their face. There can be only some few, there could be only few interactions which can be done sometimes in office, right? Now, during their work from home, you can always create that kind of culture where they get used to. Now, there are a lot of benefits of that too, which we'll discuss. Now, obviously, as I told you, once you bifurcate these expenses into 3 different levels, you have the vendors list, right? Pick on each and every vendor, big or small, doesn't matter. Every penny counts, because as startup, what is important for you is to keep running. See, if you think that, should I take a pay cut? Should I ask my employee, how do they may feel? How would my vendors feel? Tomorrow they may not support you. No, sir. No, madam. It would not work that way. Reason being, everyone understands the situation today, right? The only way to cut it or to save it is that save your company. That is the most, save your dream. If your dream is there, tomorrow you can again start paying your vendors, make them happy. Today, if you are able to negotiate with your vendors, there are 2 ways of negotiating with your vendors. One is volume based. Volume means you see the history of your records. If you have given them enough business, tell them, boss, we have supported you in your good times. Now you need to support us in our time, right? We have given you enough business, support us for a few months. Then probably when things go well, again, we are going to come back to the original pricing. Second could be situation based, where the volume thing doesn't work, just play, I would say a good cop, bad cop strategy, or maybe just become a crybaby. I don't mind saying that being a finance person. If required, go and tell them that I'm not able to pay. Please help me. I need that. That's it. So that is the way to negotiate. Correct. Last but not the least on the action plan for startup is, if you are able to raise money, which would not be easy, of course, in these times, I totally agree, but you should grab every opportunity that you are able to. Now, there was a question on how do we raise money during this COVID time. See, be it COVID or non-COVID, there is no standard formula of raising money. It all depends on your business line. It all depends on the way you approach your investors. It's a long played game that is required, right? Now, but if you're a pure tech company, which you can actually showcase to your investor or your prospective investor that during this COVID times, I have a solution which is purely tech and purely online, I think investors would be interested. Or you could, if you can tell your investors that I have a solution which would help big time for the companies to save cost, I think that you can generate the interest of investors. Why? Reason being, this is the time when every company would look for saving cost. And if you're providing a solution, something which would actually say for example, an IoT based company, which says that I would help companies in saving energies, I will ensure that the electricity bill would go down for this, for all the companies who use my solution. Obviously, investor would be interested in even this COVID times, right? Moving forward. Okay, I'll take a small break for the questions if you have any. Guys, hope you're enjoying this. Comment on the chat box. I hope I'm adding some value to you, and it's you guys are learning something from this. If you have any questions, happy to answer. Okay, thank you for that comment. Okay, I'll move forward since you don't have any questions for now. How does our future look like, right? Okay, I got one chat. Just okay, definitely yes. Okay, how does our future outlook look like? What's the future outlook? I keep on sitting and imagining how would the world be, right? One, of course, on the positive side, I think I'm becoming more optimistic. I've become closer to nature. I'm loving things. I have learned to slow down a bit because we all have been running on the rat race, right? But things would change big time. You know, I have been talking to a lot of CEOs, a lot of founders of different startups, and these are some of the points that I could gather apart from your sophisticated, or I would say cosmetic changes. One, work from home to be a norm. Yes, it's definitely possible. As I told you, you can think even from your company's angle, what are the functions you can actually permanently make it work from home. Now, there are a lot of founders who are talking about downsizing their office space to reduce on cost. I'll tell you the benefits. If you can downsize not your employees, but your office space only. Say, for example, I have an office with a capacity of 100 people, and if I can make it to 50 by categorizing various functions and tell them, boss, you all are going to work from home permanently now. Now, how do we do that? One, we tell them weekly, only 2 days you are going to come to office and report, and there would be a manager meeting or the way you want to address it, right? That is one way. Of course, second would be you can play a round robin. That it's an open office, but you only get based on registration. You register that I want to be on office based on first come first service. First come first service, of course. You get 50 seats, you block those seats, and you come and just use the office. Other days you need not come. Now the benefits, it's a win-win situation. Employee need not travel. They save their travel time. Productivity will be increased for good for company. They save the travel cost. Now all these travel, obviously companies generally don't reimburse that travel cost, right? Except for the sales guys. So obviously you can save on your travel cost as well. Apart from that, now I have heard a lot of companies, big company CEOs talking about, if my employee is staying in a 2 BHK, why can't I tell them that you go and move from 2 BHK to a 3 BHK rented apartment, and I fund your extra one room cost. Say I give you an allowance of 10,000 per month, and you can always go and set up an office there. Now, setting up an office there maybe require a lease line. So for a better internet connectivity, even that is possible through, if they can allow a lease line in an apartment. If someone stays in a bigger apartment where a lot of employees work, especially for bigger companies, that is possible. There could be office setup in home. Say, what do you need for office setup? You just need a good table, a chair, and a laptop. Now, laptop, most of them they have. You can give some allowance for them owning their either laptop, or it could be on a rental basis. Now, one way of saving cost, which is very interesting and which I always advise my clients, is that if possible, especially the sales or a non-essential employees functions, you can tell them companies would not provide you laptops. You have your personal laptops, you can use them and you get a fixed rental every month apart from your salary. Say for example, I set up 800 rupees per month for as a laptop rental every month for your employees, right? Now just imagine, instead of spending 40-50,000 on buying a laptop for every employee, you can just tell them use your own laptop and start taking rentals. Now your capex is getting converted into an opex, right? Interesting, right? Now post COVID, obviously we are hearing a lot about hiring freeze. Now there could be a lot of hiring freeze, there could be pay cuts, there could be layoffs, but my wish would be for our Indian economy as well as for the industry that it should not happen. Travel budgets may be controlled big time. Reason being, a lot of people may not want to travel. Secondly, companies would say, no, you're good at online meetings, right? Why don't you conduct your meetings? So I think travel budgets would come down as low as 60% or 40% of your original budgets. So this we are going to definitely see.